Thanks so very much for tuning into our second editorial video on Imperii Auto. This channel will be focused on all things auto-related news, reviews, accessories, classics, and more. As a new channel, I know it gets old and everyone on YouTube asks for it, but I have to say I would greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe as it will surely help us grow. And please throw a comment below. I'm always down to talk about cars and I will try my very best to respond to everyone I can. So thank you again so much for the support and I appreciate you checking out the channel. Today we have a pretty cool car. This is the new 2022 Toyota GR86. Now GR stands for, is it Gazoo or Gazoo Racing? Gazoo. I'm not sure how to properly pronounce that, so if I said it wrong, I apologize. But before I dive into the 2022 GR86, I want to go into a little bit of history about the joint venture between Toyota and Subaru with the 86 platform. That was an interesting concept from the beginning. The original car launched in 2012, sold as a Scion till 2016 in the US before the brand was dissolved, and also by Subaru as the BRZ. The Subaru version is slightly more rare. The original version had a 2-liter Subaru Boxer flat 4 design that was good for about 200 horsepower and 151 foot-pounds of torque. The idea of this car from the beginning was never meant to be a stoplight burner, but a balanced and well-handling car based on its power to weight ratio and size. While it did all these things very well, the performance numbers did leave a bit to be desired. 0 to 60 times from the original test I saw from around 2013 are kind of all over the place on this car. Some stating the 0 to 60 time around 6.3 seconds, others touching the 7-second mark. That's the kind of numbers my 5,500 pound 4Runner gets, by the way, mid-sevens. But I digress. Again, this car was never meant to be a red light rocket ship, but getting those minivan levels of performance out of a pure sports car was a little bit disappointing to say the least. One thing that the lackluster performance numbers did, though, was renew an interest in the aftermarket tuning world for a near-perfect sports coupe that needed some extra oomph. You'll see on screen a friend of mine's 2013 Subaru BRZ. Now, it is far from stock. He stated it was a clean slate to build the car he wanted and a great starting point. Very much like the Honda tuning scene. You had a lot of 90s Hondas with not a lot of power from the factory, but the capability to build onto a great chassis as far as your mind and your wallet wanted to take it. The BRZ, FRS, 86, whatever you want to call it, was praised by all the car media when it debuted, with the general consensus being it nailed what Toyota and Subaru had set out to do, build a balanced, fun sports coupe with unique styling and amazing handling. But pretty much everyone agreed the car needed a little bit more power. Too much power would ruin the balance of this car for most people, but a bit more grunt would have made this great little car even better. The original cars also had what was basically Prius-sized tires, which made it a lively car with just enough understeer to make the sensation of driving on the ragged edge a blast, but not really going fast enough to get into too much trouble. Now let's look at the new second generation GR86. I'm going to go through some of the official press info from Toyota, starting with the engine. The big change. Toyota says, with the move from a 2-liter to 2.4-liter flat-4 engine, the 2022 GR86 increases its engine bore diameter to 94 millimeters, previously 86, for nearly 20% more displacement, bumping up from 1998 cc to 2387 cc. The bigger engine improves 0 to 60 times from 7 seconds to 6.1. See, now Toyota even says 7 seconds, and I saw some that were like, yeah, anyway. For the manual transmission, and from 8 seconds to 6.6 for the automatic. Now, again, this car is available in a manual and an automatic, and going back to my Z car review, why you would buy this car in an automatic is mind-boggling to me, but I digress. The manufacturer's estimated fuel economy is 19 city, 26 highway, 21 combined with the manual transmission, and 20 city, 30 highway, 24 combined for the automatic. So I guess if you're going to use this car as a little commuter car, maybe the auto would be the way to go. You still get the handling balance and a little better gas mileage. Toyota's D4S dual injection technology is retuned to deliver more aggressive throttle input. The system combines direct fuel injection and port injection technologies. The direct injection system provides a cooling effect in the cylinders, which allows the engine to use a very high 12.5 to 1 compression ratio for maximum power. The port fuel injectors come into play during light and medium load conditions to help maximize combustion efficiently. The intake manifold's port diameter and length have been optimized to support linear torque and acceleration, and the air intake has also been redesigned to maximize airflow. The fuel system has a new pump design and wider transfer tube for a steady fuel flow during cornering. The cooling system gets a new high-speed water pump, 5-level water-cooled oil cooler, and a new high-capacity 200-watt radiator output motor. And the exhaust larger 5.6L center pipe capacity delivers a satisfying growl with an active sound control system that augments engine sound in the cabin. Oh no, they put fake engine noises in it. Jokes aside, that's a pretty big change to the engine in this car. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go with some sort of forced induction. I know there's supercharger kits on the market for the older 2-liter car, and I think turbo kits as well. I'm sure there's turbo kits for everything. They decided to go with a little bit bigger engine, and maybe that was just the amount of power that it needed to balance the car even better without adding too much weight from extra tubing and piping and whatnot. Let's talk a little bit about the chassis and the suspension. Toyota says a highly rigid body structure. The GR team also reworked the chassis and body to complement the GR86's increase in power. So it wasn't just a power bump. They tweaked the chassis as well. Up front, diagonal cross members were added to the joints between the front suspension and frame, improving load transmission input from the front tires and reducing lateral bending. The hood has an internal diagonal frame structure for stability, say that 3 times fast, modified from a honeycomb design on the prior generation. High-strength fasteners connect to the frame and suspension mounts. Additionally, rigidity is added to the rear thanks to a new full-ring structure that completely ties the upper and lower chassis together. That's interesting. High-strength fasteners connect the rear frame and suspension mounts to handle the G-forces and corners. The materials used in the chassis were also carefully selected to optimize handling, crafted from a combination of high-strength steel, hot stamped steel, and aluminium for you on the other side of the pond. Each material is strategically placed in the frame to bring drivers a balance of roll and pitch that maximizes control. For additional reinforcement, structural adhesive throughout the underbody creates a taut connected frame. Now, I know structural adhesive is a big thing in modern car manufacturing. I know a lot of the European makers are using it, Mercedes, Porsche, Audi, etc. So that's a pretty advanced step for Toyota for what is a rather affordable sports car. Continuing on from Toyota, let's talk a little bit about the changes to the body on the outside. The parabola-shaped transparent lens components give its LED headlights a fearless look with the same sweeping internal L shape as the GR Supra. And I did notice that the front end has changed just enough, especially those little L fins in the front. It does kind of look like the Supra a little bit more. And that is a GR sports car exclusive. G-mesh shaped Metrix grille feeds air into the intake, and functional molding on the front bumper features a textured sharkskin inspired design to reduce drag. On the side, the front fender and large rocker moldings form side sill spoilers with integrated air outlets, improving aerodynamics at the door drop. The air outlets allow air inside the front wheel arch to escape, reducing wheel well turbulence and supporting stability. Along the door line, a low, horizontally aligned underbody combines with the accentuated fender tops to express a strong front-rear posture. Black side mirrors add contrast and are slightly larger than the previous generation with a curved shape to maximize airflow. They go on to talk a little bit more about the changes to aerodynamics and airflow at the rear. I'm going to skip over a little bit of this not to get too long and boring. But at the end, I found this interesting. It says GR engineers also stress their creativity in seeking weight savings on the GR86. The front fenders and roof panel are now constructed of aluminum, in addition to an already aluminum hood. Other examples of weight-saving ingenuity come from the use of structural adhesives in the underbody, which I was mentioning before, a resin fuel door, new lightweight front seat frames, and a redesigned EPS and changes to the driveline and engine block. Also, some subtle changes to the interior. The new GR86 features Toyota Smart Key system that functions on both the driver and passenger door. Once inside, drivers will find a horizontally configured instrument panel for a clean field of view. I do like the use here of the digital instrument cluster. There's some cars that look a little iPad-y for me with these new non-analog gauge clusters. But I think Toyota did a pretty good job on this when it integrates nicely into the housing and it looks like it wouldn't be too distracting for the driver. A push-button start fires up the GR86 logo animation on its 7-inch thin film transistor TFT multi-information display. Display content varies based on whether the driver is in normal, sport, snow, interesting that they add a snow mode for a small light sports car, or track mode. It does say here the manual transmission offers track mode only. Another reason to buy the manual. Sport mode throws a red ring around the speedometer for an aggressive look. That's kind of cool. Track mode was developed with race driver input and prominently displays an RPM band in the center, oil and water coolant temperatures with a lap timer. That's really cool. All models of the 86 come with Toyota's Star Safety System, and I think that's pretty standard on every Toyota now. I know my Toyota 4Runner has something similar. It's a 2021. Finishing out the press release part, I wanted to say something that I found really cool. Complimentary 1-year NASA membership for all GR86s. Every 2022 GR86 comes with a complimentary 1-year membership to the National Auto Sports Association. GR86 owners will enjoy a host of benefits, including one free high-performance drive event and discounted admission to NASA-sanctioned events. That's really cool, and that gives you no excuse not to take the car and use it for what it's made for. And in closing from Toyota, the 2022 GR86 will start at under 30 grand. Exact pricing will be shared prior to its expected arrival at Toyota dealerships in around November of 2021. So tell me what you guys think. Does the Toyota 86 finally have enough power with the new GR edition for 2022? So I don't know. I think Toyota has a really sweet niche with this car, and I hope they sell a bazillion of them because we need more cars like this on the road. So once again, thank you all so much for checking out the channel. Let me know your thoughts on the new GR86 in the comments, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.